Hi everybody. This video we are going to discuss about Excel shortcuts that we can use for formatting, such as like merge a cell, or insert a new row, or change the font color without using mouse. My name is Chiu. So let's move to this Excel file. We will be using this Excel file throughout this video, and over here, if you have not watched the previous video before, so that previous video is on how we can navigate around Excel without using mouse. Okay, you can try, if you want, you can watch it. If you have watched the video or you are familiar with Excel shortcuts, then actually you can start this workbook directly. Okay, so this is some warm up that you may have. Okay, let me just resize this thing a bit. Okay, so like this would be good enough. Okay, so these shortcuts key here, basically they are available for the Microsoft Office program such as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and these shortcut keys should be also applicable to most of the programs if you are using Microsoft Windows, right? That's your operating system. If you are using Mac OS, then you have to change this Ctrl A, like to Command A, right? So the command key. Okay, so Ctrl A is basically to select all. Excel tries to identify where is the range of your data, and then select the whole table for you. So that is the Ctrl A. Okay, so Ctrl C is to copy, and then you can move to anywhere. Ctrl V to paste it, right? So copy and paste. Ctrl X is to cut it, right? So X looks like scissors, so you can cut it and then paste it somewhere else, right? No issue. Ctrl Z is to undo. For example, if you have type 1, 2, 3, you realize that you don't want this change, you can Ctrl Z to undo it. And if you accidentally undo too many times, you can like Ctrl Y to redo it, right? So like for example 4, 5, 6, then I can Ctrl Z 2 times to undo these 2 changes, Ctrl Y to redo these 2. Okay, Ctrl S is to save the file. F12 is to save as. That means you want to save this file as a new name, as a new file, you can use F12. So that is the basic keyboard shortcuts that probably you will encounter. Okay, now we move to the next worksheet to start our basic formatting shortcuts. Right. So these 3 are basically the most basic, probably the most basic formatting, right? So if you want to bold a text, we use Ctrl B. B stands for bold. So the same ideas, I for italic, U for underline. So you will have these 3. So this is also applicable in like PowerPoint or Word. Ctrl U is to underline, Ctrl I is to italic, Ctrl B is to bold it, right? Sorry. So you can actually bold, italic, and underline using Ctrl B, I, U. Okay, back to this one. Ctrl B to bold it, Ctrl I to italic, Ctrl U to underline. Okay, straightforward. But if you want to increase the font size a little bit, I mean by 1 step, or decrease the font size by 1 step, then you will have to use the alternate key. So the alternate key is to have the labeling of the buttons. Okay, what we means by labeling, so if you press alternate key on your keyboard, you see you will get all this labeling. Of course, you can press escape to cancel it, right? So alternate, escape. So once you press alternate, you press H, you see Excel will bring you into this home tab. To increase the font size, actually it is the same as using mouse. So if you use mouse, you click home, and then you click this one to increase it, click this one to decrease it, right? So the same thing applies when you are using keyboard. Alternate H is like you click at home, and then you want increase, so this button, right? So FG, so you see increase. So you can try a few more times, then you can see the difference. Alternate F, H, FK, right? You see this one. Okay, one more time, then you see this thing becomes smaller. So that is how you can actually use the alternate key. And in fact, most of the times, if you're not familiar or you don't know what is the what is that called, keyboard shortcuts, you can always use alternate key. Like for example, if you want to merge the cell E5 to J5, right? So alternate H, merge is M, center is C. So we merge and center. So bear in mind, all the formatting is always in Home tab. So alternate H will work for most of the formatting shortcuts. So like for this one, you want to align ABC to the right hand side. So alternate H is for Home tab, align A, R, right? So A, align is A, right is R. So it will go to right hand side. This is to left hand side, alternate HAL. This is to the middle, alternate HAC, right? So you will have something like this. If you want to format, applies the same formatting to everything, then you just select all the data, and then alternate HAC, everything will be aligned to the center. Okay, Control B, Control U, also same, right? So all these are the same. Now, these two are slightly different with the previous one. If you want to insert 1000 separators and 2 decimal, so usually when you are trying to build a model or a template and you have some monetary term inside it, so it would be easier to view it when you have 1000 separator, right? So you don't have to count how many digits you have in the cell. In this case, if you want 1000 separator and 2 decimal, we use Ctrl Shift 1. Okay. If you want a currency format, that means with a dollar sign in front of it, Ctrl Shift 4. Over here you see a dollar sign because the system locale of my operating system has been set into US. So if you set it to other countries, you will get other symbol. Okay, so in this case, you will have both of them similar. You have 1000 separator, you have 2 decimal. The main difference is that you don't have the currency symbol over here for the first one, right? And for the second one, you see, even though we align them to the right hand side, let's say, right, this thing still will not go to the end, to the right hand side. So that is the properties of this accounting formatting and also currency formatting. So accounting formatting, let's say if I create one more 2005, right? So these two, you select this one, and then let me just illustrate. You can also add 1000 separator here. You see, similar to this one without the dollar sign, but this thing will not go to the end as well, compared to if, let's say, let me just copy this one over here, right? You see, the alignment is not the same because this is number formatting, this is accounting formatting, this is currency formatting. So you can also change it like over here, home, and then go to here. You see, by default it is general accounting formatting over here. So this is accounting formatting where you have dollar sign. This is like when you have no dollar sign, and this is currency formatting where dollar sign is just in front of the 2. Okay, so that is the difference here. Okay, so if you look at this one, Control Shift 1, Shift 1 is like escalation mark. So it is 1000 separator plus 2 decimal. So the dot here is like the dot in the decimal, right? So this is not accounting, but currency format. For currency format, you see Control Shift 4. Shift 4 is actually a dollar sign, so it's easier to remember. So Ctrl Shift 4 would be giving you the currency format, right? So something like this. Okay. So what if we want to increase 1 decimal point or decrease 1 decimal point? So like in this case, if you want to increase 1 decimal point, so what can you do? We use Ctrl Shift. Oops. Hi everybody. This video is going to talk about how we can use Excel shortcuts for formatting cells and insert rows, merge cells, and so on. My name is Chiu. So let's move to this Excel file. This is basically the workbook that we will be using in this video. It contains a few simple exercises that we can practice and actually learn some of the shortcut keys. So this is a warm-up, or in case if you are not familiar with some of the shortcuts of Microsoft Office program or Microsoft Windows, then probably you can look at here. So the first one would be Ctrl A, which works for select all. That means if you use Ctrl A, you see Excel will try to select all of the range of this data. Of course, Excel is trying to estimate what is the range, and it might be correct, it might be incorrect. So that is for Ctrl A. Then Ctrl C is to copy, right? So copy. Ctrl V is to paste. So you can go to anywhere and then paste the cell that you have copied earlier. So you paste it here. Ctrl Z is to undo. Ctrl X is to cut, right? So I can cut this thing, paste it here. I can cut it and then paste it back, right? So it's like moving the cell. Ctrl Z is to undo. So if I type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say, I can undo. If I want to redo it, then Ctrl Y, you will have these two numbers. And Ctrl S is to save. If you want to save this workbook as a new workbook, then we use F12. Right, so you can rename it. So look at the names here. So you can type a new name and then just save it. So you can save it as a new name at the same time as a new workbook. Okay, so that is on the basic one. Okay, now we move to the next worksheet to start what we are going to learn in this video. So first thing that we are going to learn is to bold font, italic, and underline the font. So these three things are actually quite common. Right, so we commonly use this thing. To bold it, basically we say that okay, bold starts from B, right? So it's Ctrl B. Italic start from I, Ctrl I. Underline, Ctrl U. So that is what we have here. So applying the same thing, Ctrl B, Ctrl I, Ctrl U. So you can bold it, you can italic. Of course, if you do it one more time, it's like undo, right? So underline, without underlying, something like that. So these three shortcuts applies to PowerPoints and Word as well. For example, you can actually underline this one, Ctrl U to underline, you see. So that is how we have this Ctrl B and so on. Bold, italic, underline. The next two is slightly different. We want to increase the font size a little bit or decrease it a little bit. If you are using mouse, then what we do is we move our mouse to the home tab. You click on this one, then you move to somewhere here, right? So this is to increase a little bit. If you observe these 4 cells, right? And when I click this one, you see size are increasing, size are decreasing. So that is how you increase and decrease the font size. Of course, you can also click here and then directly change the size to the font size that you want. Okay, so that is how you change font size if you are using mouse. If you are using keyboard, then to increase the font size at E8, right? So this cell, what we do is we use the alternate key. So back to PowerPoint a bit. In previous video, we have also explained the amazing alternate key, right? So alternate key actually gives the labeling of the buttons. So like for example, if I press alternate key, so just visualize that you are using mouse. So you need to go to the home tab, click here, right? So you want to click this one. Using mouse is click, using keyboard will be typing H. You want to click this one, it's the same as using FG. Then you see the font size increase a little bit. Observe over here. So alternate HFG, alternate HFG, right? To decrease it, alternate HFK, alternate HFK, same thing. So this thing will decrease the font size a little bit. Okay, that's how we use the alternate key. Now moving to this merge cell, you want to merge from E5 to J5, right? All of the formatting buttons are actually under home tab. So alternate H as usual, and then M is for merge, C is for center. So we merge and place it as center, right? So if you want to unmerge this one, alternate HMC, unmerge, alternate HMC, merge again. So straightforward. So using same idea, you can actually perform the formatting for these three cells also. For example, if you want to align this thing right hand side, alternate HAR, right? A for align, R for right. So same idea, alternate HAL and alternate HAC, right? Also, if you want to directly format everything or one column, then you just select all the cells that you want to format, and then you do the formatting, right? Alternate HAC, everything will be aligned in the center. If you don't want that, Ctrl Z to undo. So straightforward. Moving to these two, we are looking at a number, and then we try to put in the 1000 separator. So you have actually a few ways. Like for example, in this case, you want to put in 1000 separator and 2 decimal. So you can use Ctrl H1, right? So you will get 1000 separator and 2 decimal. If you want to change it to currency format, Ctrl Shift 4, right? So you get a currency format. So if you look at this one, Ctrl Shift 1, Shift 1 is actually the same as exclamation mark. You have a dot here, so it is like 1000 separator and a dot for the decimal, easier to remember. Shift 4 is actually equal to dollar sign. If you look at your keyboard, Shift 4, it is the dollar sign, right? So Ctrl Shift 4 dollar sign for currency format, straightforward. So you can memorize this thing in this way. So Ctrl Shift 4 is for currency format. Okay. The main difference between these two is that you can see one of it you have the dollar sign symbol, one of it you don't have that. So this is dollar sign symbol because my PC system locale is being set to US. So if you set your PC to other countries, then you will get other currency symbol. The second difference here is that whenever you have currency format, accounting format, or 1000 separator, your right hand align right, it won't go until the most right. You compare these two, you see, they are not in the same line, on the same line. So even though we align them to the right hand side, you see, these things are still like that. Okay, so that is a difference of number formatting. This is a number formatting actually. This is a currency formatting. Okay, so if you see a currency formatting and you see something like this, there's no way for you to move it to the most right unless you change it to number format. Okay, so over here, we want to increase 1 decimal or decrease 1 decimal, right? How we can actually do that is that you can use alternate H, and then this is to increase, you use 0. So you see, you increase 1 decimal. To decrease 1 decimal, let me try one time. Alternate H0. So you get more decimal. If you see all these hash symbol, don't get panic. It is just that the column width is not enough. Alternate H9 is to decrease the number of decimal. You see, so that is how you increase and decrease number of decimal. If you want to select the whole row, then you use Shift space. Okay, so let me type down Shift, type it here, better. Right. Shift plus space is select row. How about select column? Would be Ctrl plus space is to select the column. So Ctrl space, you select the column. So over here you can see the column selected are 6 columns because of these merged cells here. Because you cannot select just one like this and then partial of this merged cell. It is impossible. Okay, unless you select it this way. But if you use this one, Ctrl space, then it would be always the 6 column because of this merged cell, you see. But if you are over here, then you can do that. So Shift space, you select the whole row, and then if you do a Ctrl space again, then all the selected cell, their column will be selected. That means everything. Okay. Okay, so what we want to insert a new row before above this row, right? The current row is 24. You want to insert one row. So how you do that? Ctrl Shift the plus sign, the equal sign, right? So you see, you can actually use your keyboard down and then entire row, press enter, so you can insert row like this. Okay. So to delete row, if you want to delete this row, so just now you see Ctrl Shift equal sign or Ctrl plus is actually the insert. So to delete is Ctrl minus, right? So entire row or entire column, you can actually change it. So you can delete it like this. Let me do it one more time. Ctrl and then minus sign. You can choose the delete row. Okay, so again, let me just place it here. So Ctrl plus Shift plus equal sign, and then don't forget Shift plus equal is actually equal to plus sign, right? Is to insert row or column. Then delete. So you don't need this one. Control minus. You have this thing. Okay, so that is the insert and delete row or column. Okay, to auto fit this row. So auto fit row or auto fit column, you use the same thing. So we try auto fit row first. Alternate. Don't forget formatting always in the home tab, right? So alternate H, and then over here we are looking at this format, you see. So O, and then auto fit row height is A. So you press A, you see, you have actually 3 rows. Alternate HOA. Okay, that is to auto fit the row. Auto fit means we adjust the row or column into the minimum width that can contain or display the text. So like for example this one, you see the text actually are truncated, right? Because you have something over here. If you delete it, probably you can see it. But if you want to adjust the column width over here, so you can adjust like this, adjust the column width such that you can see everything for this cell. So we want to auto fit G24, 27, which is this one. Alternate H O I, right? So you alternate H O, and then you see I is for column width. And by doing that, you see you are actually auto fitting this cell, not this column. Okay, that means the column width will be adjusted to display everything in this cell, but not the longest cell in this column. So like this one, it is not displayed. So if you want to auto fit the whole column G, then you have to combine this one and this one, right? So these two combine the technique. So let me just unmerge this one first. Right, so because of the merging, you can't actually select the whole column using keyboard. So Ctrl space, you select everything, and then repeat the same thing with what we have done with cell G27, alternate HOI. Then you see it will auto fit the whole column. Okay, so that is the idea here. So to show or to hide grid line is when you have, like for example, a new workbook, so you can see all the light gray color lines here are the grid line. So to show or to hide grid line, basically you use alternate, and then grid line is under view. Okay, so this is slightly different, under view. So view, and then view G, VG is view grid line. You can remember in this way, alternate W VG, right? So grid line or without grid line, easier. So the next one. So what we have earlier was more on that row, columns, and so on. So now, if let's say sometimes we have data like this, and we want to like make the row highlight in alternate color, right? So probably blue, light blue, blue, light blue, and so on. So easiest way is we convert this thing into a table. But bear in mind, if you are trying to convert a very large data, then probably it might take some time. So Ctrl T is to convert it into table, and then you press OK. You see, now you will have this thing nicely changed into blue color. If you want to change to other color, if you are using mouse, then you can go to here, design, and then you can choose other color. Okay, so same thing if you are using keyboard, then you can just use alternate JT, and then you can go to S, right? So you can select the color using your keyboard. Okay, so that is converting it into table. Of course, I'm converting it into table. You have other usage as well, not just this one, but we won't cover it here. Okay, now once you have this one, let's say if you want to copy and paste the same formatting from the above to this one, right? So how to do this thing? We first select the whole table. You can either use Ctrl A to select the whole table, or move to the top left, Ctrl Shift right down. You can do that as well. Then Ctrl C to copy, right? Over here, go to the top left of the data where you want to paste, right? And then if you are using mouse, you are always like home and then paste, and then you are looking for formatting, right? Formatting is somewhere here. Okay, I'm not too familiar, like this one, right? So you click this one, you can paste everything on the new range. Of course, everything of the formatting, not including the data. So let's say if let me just change this one a little bit, right? So if I change it to A, B, C, and then D, E, F. So we are not saying that, okay, I want to do a copy directly and then paste like this. We are not doing that. Okay, so we are not pasting directly. What we are trying to do is that something like this. Copy. If you are using mouse, then you can click here and then go to home, paste as paste the format. So you see, if you paste the format like this, then the information won't be override, right? So it will be still the same, but the formatting will be changed. So that is the idea here. Of course, you can also do it in this way. You copy, paste it, right? So if you paste it in this way, you see this cells has been changed because you copy paste directly, and you can actually move to the bottom right, paste option, click, and then you still have the chance to change it, right? You see, observe the change. Okay, so now we just want to do this thing by using keyboard. So why we want to use keyboard? Because it should be faster. Let me just demonstrate one time how this thing can be faster. So copy, right? So you can actually paste everything. You see, you don't have to use your mouse at all. So to do that, once you have copied, move to the top left cell. We use alternate. H is for home, V is for paste. Observe, V is for paste. And then you can use R as formatting. But if you are using older version of Excel, you don't have that. So you have to use special S. And then T is for format, you see. And then you press OK. So if you are using older version of Excel, then would be alternate HVST. Then press enter. You have this one. If you are using, like in this case, mine is 2013. So if you are using newer version of Excel, then alternate HVR. Also same thing. Okay. So that is how we can actually copy the formatting. Let me demonstrate one more time. HVR. Right. So you will have this thing. Or alternate HVST enter also can. No difference. Okay. Then repeat formatting, right? So this one, if let's say we have we want to change the font color into red, then alternate HFC. Then to change it to red color, then you use your mouse keyboard to navigate to red color, press enter, you have red color. If you want to repeat this thing, the previous formatting, so what to do is F4. You use F4, you can repeat the previous formatting, right? But bear in mind, previous formatting you can only repeat one time. That means if let's say I alternate HFC, right? I change this thing to red color, I bold it. Two action here, and then over here, if I repeat the formatting, only bold will be repeated because bold is the last action. Okay, so only last action will be repeated. So bear in mind. Sorry, alternate HFC. Right, and then over here, if I want to change this thing to blue font, a bold blue font, right? So we want to repeat the same as previous. We know that F4 you cannot directly apply to two action. So now the key is that how we can combine two action into one, right? So Ctrl 1, and then you can actually, so if you press select the cell, press Ctrl 1, you are actually getting the format cell window. That means every formatting that you can actually do. Let me move it aside first. You can actually have with regarding to this cell, right? So for example, you want to change the number formatting, you want to change the alignment, font, and so on, right? Okay, so let me repeat. Ctrl 1, you get this thing. Then you can actually use your cursor without pressing anything. Use your cursor left, right to choose the page that you want. So over here we want to change the font, right? And then you press tab. So this symbol here is tab, and then this is the font, and then font style. We want bold, so you go down, and then you tab again. Right. So this is the color. So if you want blue color, okay, then press tab until you see dotted line over OK button. Then you press OK. You don't have to use mouse, but press enter. So you see, you bold it and blue it at the same time. Then over here, if you just repeat F4, then the action will be repeated. So you see, Excel remember the last action, but not what action. So you can actually try to combine the action in one step, and then repeat it by using F4. F4 is for format repeating. So this should be the last thing. F4, repeat formatting. Okay, then if you are using mouse, then format painter would be probably easier for you. Like for example, this font has red font and then blue background and bold font, right? You want to copy exactly the same formatting to here. Like what we learned earlier, Ctrl C is to copy, and then you can go here, alternate HVR to paste it, right? So new version of Excel, or alternate HVST, enter, is a old version of Excel, right? But if you are using mouse, then you can actually do something like this. You select this cell, go to home, click this format painter, and then click it here. So it will also paste like this. Okay, so if you want to paste it to more cells, then you can click and select. Select this one, home, format painter, and then let's select both. You see, you can do the same thing also. Okay, so that is for format painter. Okay, so sometimes you want to copy and then paste in a new place, but you don't want to directly paste it, because you see sometimes if it is formula based, then the number might be changed. So what you want is that you want the content, you don't need the formatting. So we say that this is to paste as value, right? So you can select the cells that you want, Ctrl C copy, alternate HVV to paste it as a value. You see the formatting won't follow, it will go to the default formatting. So that not the default formatting, but the original formatting that you have over here, these two cells, before you paste it, right? So you copy, and then alternate HVV is for value, so you paste value. Okay, now you want to add borders to this data. Same thing, the alternate key, and then home for the formatting, B for borders, and then you see what types you want. So A is for all. So if you want to clear the formatting border, alternate HBN, N for none. If you want to have the side border, alternate HBS, S for the side, right? So you can clear it. If you want the thicker border on the side, alternate HBT, so that will be the thicker one. So you can do something like that, then your Excel will have, right? So that is probably the format that you want. Let's say if you don't want, you can clear it, no issue. So clear it, add to all, yeah, just like that. So that would be the basic Excel keyboard shortcuts that you will probably encounter. Some of the useful ones are like paste value, paste formatting, and then also like repeat the last action. So the F4 is also the useful one. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, comment below and let me know. So see you guys on next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.